Shalom, everyone. It's Out the Box Kingdom. Talk with me, Out the Box Kingdom. I just wanted to come on here right quick. Last night I was just discussing some things with some brothers of Yah. And, Yah is consistently exposing things to the light. And the powers that be, we know who they are, is really, really trying really hard to get the children of the Most High to really worship idols. And if you have not known or have not seen yet in the stores, they are now marketing Black Santa Claus and Mrs. Claus, which we know what Santa stands for, which is Satan. But they also have melanated people ornaments. Now, the person that is still sleeping, that still worship the pagan holiday Christmas, which we know what that really stands for, is actually worshiping Nimrod and Tammuz and Horus. We know that the tree represents the Iblis, which represents the male genitals. We know that the wreath represents the female genitals. We know that the tassel represents the semen of the man. We know that what the balls represent as well. And we was warned about the decorating of the tree in Yahuah. So, on that note, let's continue. So, a person that is still sleeping spiritually will see this as, oh, well, look at this. We finally got ornaments that look like us. Let's buy as many. And I was that person that worked in Garbage. I hated this time of the year because people will be buying Christmas ornaments, spending $100 to $300 on Christmas ornaments. And it's like, why? For what? For one day of the year. Isn't it something they sing that song? It's the most wonderful time of the year. Whose year is it wonderful? It ain't the people that's in poverty. It's the rich folks, because they're making money off of you because you don't know any better. But let's continue. Okay. So now they're marketing these Black Santas and Black his wife, and then the ornaments. And then Yah was like, look at that very closely. What does that look like to you? First of all, once again, Satan wants Yah's children to fall and worship these idols, right? Bringing these demons into your house because they're dolls, right? But however, the Black ornaments represents to me, when I was looking at it, I said, why did that look like black face? And then Yah said, no, looking at even more. Our people, going to be getting these things and hanging these things on the tree. Part of the ritual, right? But didn't the scripture say, cursed is the man that hangeth on the tree? They're sitting up there and going to be mocking you in front of your face as you hang these black face or these black so-called ornaments, because they look like us, on trees. They're literally telling you what they're planning on doing. And it's not going to just be one. There's going to be several, right? The star, which we know they saying is the Star of David, but we already know that is the pentagram and everything else representing Satan. You know what I'm saying? So once I thought about that, I said, that's such mockery, y'all. That's so wicked. But that's how they operate if you're not awake, right? So then I got to thinking about the little so-called Christmas jingles. And a lot of them have some dark history with it, especially Jingle Bells. If you know what Jingle Bells is about, Jingle Bells is about slaves with the bells around their neck. That when they try to run from their slave masters, they knew where they was running to because they can hear the bells, right? I don't know what Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer represent, but I'm quite sure it has a dark history. But then I got to thinking about it. Y'all was like, the Nutcracker. And I was like, wait a minute, y'all. The Nutcracker is of this so-called soldier, little wooden device, and you put the nut in his mouth and it cracks it, right? But then I was like, wait a minute. But that's kind of mockery too, y'all, because they used to castrate the men of Yah. They used to literally cut off their genitals. You might as well say nutcracker. And if they weren't doing that, they was backbreaking them. And if they weren't doing that, they was splitting them in half with their horses. That's where we get the, I think it's Levi Jean logo. What you think the Timberland logo is? It's a tree. But who got hung on a tree? And then they marketing it. Because first of all, the creator of Timberland don't even want us wearing the shoes. But however, you see a lot of rappers still marketing Timberland shoes. Everything has a dark history to it, y'all. But what I want to say is, don't fall for the trap, y'all. Just because they see us as commodity and part of their marketing schemes. They have to use our faces first for people to follow, right? They're not going to ever use themselves. They're going to always use us. And their way of doing it now, because all this truth is coming out to make it seem like we're so important. They started with the Black Lives Matter movement. And you see they killed that because we know it was really about LGBTQ support. Or should I say the alphabet support. Just different things. Now they're using another. Pay attention to all these groups that they're coming up with to make it seem like we're all for the melanated race, but no, it's part of the side movement. That's why, like I said, the penny ran its last race, right? However, we know what the Most High's plan is. And even though they think they have every blueprint on what the Most High is going to do, you can't outsmart the Most High. He created all things. He's in control of all things, right? Everything that Yahushua did was not written in scripture. And they can sit up there and burn things or hide it. But Abba is exposing things. And let me tell you, they don't have everything. Why? Because Abba strategically got 4 messengers to go up into the temple of Kodeshes. I like to say Kodesh instead of Holy of Holies. And told them to go get the Kodesh things and command the arets to open up and hide it within the arets. That when the appointed time, it will resurface, but only those with clean hands will be able to get access to it. So on that note, he only allowed those with contaminated hands to get stuff that he wants them to get access to. But that ain't the real thing. The Ark Covenant, they don't have access to that. It's hidden. They could do all the Ark. That's why they love digging. That's why you can't go in the GC. They got that heavily guarded. But either or, everything is going to come to light. And acceleration speed, because Yah is hastening his words now. It's no more delays. Like I said once before, there's getting ready to be a serious shaking like an earthquake in the arets. The bones are going to be rattling of his children, and they're going to wake up out of their sleep. And that's the problem. That's why they're using AI. That's why they're using all these so-called 90 and 80 artists to come back. Why y'all coming back for? Because that's their version of raising from the dead, but it's really to keep the people, our people, bound and repeat the cycle. But it's not going to work anymore because we don't want to listen to that garbage no more. We don't want to watch it. Now they got to come with AI. It makes things seem so realistic that you can't tell what's the truth from what is fake. But only those that have eyes to see it and those that have ears to hear, the Ruach will reveal to them what is real and what's fake. And they're going to use that to try to bring in the Mashiach, or should I say the anti-Mashiach, the false wonder, signs, and miracles. So don't be fooled, y'all. Stay in the place of Yah. Take a break from social media so Yah can really tweak your eyes to see what he see, so you won't be fooled in these last days. So on that note, don't fall for the trap, y'all, because the enemy be scheming.